Hey everyone, I hope you all are well. The first thing I'm doing today is priming the eye area. I'm using the Wet n Wild Photo Focus eyeshadow primer, and I've just squeezed a little of this onto the back of my hand. I've worked it into my brush, and now I'm sweeping it across the eye area so that my shadows apply and blend nice and smoothly and last all day long. I'm going to be working with really colourful shadows today, as you will have seen from the intro, so I'm going to next use a white base. I'm using the NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk, and I'm sweeping some of this creamy pencil across my eyelid, and then I'm taking that same brush that I used to apply my eyeshadow primer, and I'm using that to blend the product out all over the eye area, anywhere that I'll be adding shadow. The aim of the white base is to really make the colourful shadows hit their full potential. Adding colour on top of a white base will really make those colours pop, so I'm just adding a light layer. I came across this pastel palette on Beauty Bay recently, and it's actually from one of their own makeup lines, which I'd yet to try, so I was really excited about that. Plus as well, it was only maybe €12 or so, and I find that some pastel palettes can run quite dear. So the first shadow that I'm taking is that gorgeous yellow eyeshadow. It's called First Light. I've picked up some of that shadow on a fluffy blending brush, and I'm starting by tapping it down on the inner portion of my eyelid, and then I'm using little circular motions to pull it up into the crease area, just on that inner corner. Then I'm picking up some more of that eyeshadow and I'm just reapplying it. It was quite powdery in the pan, but I found once I tapped off the excess, I only had minor issues with fallout, not really anything to write home about, to be honest. Next then, I'm taking this green eyeshadow called Serenity on another little fluffy brush, and I'm starting by tapping this right next to the yellow on the lid. I'm just patting and pressing it down, and then I'm using little wriggling motions again just to pull the shadow up into the crease. This shadow didn't pack as much of a punch from the get-go as the yellow did. It's quite light in appearance, but it does build well, so you just have to kind of take your time with it. Then I'm taking this darker green eyeshadow called Days on another fluffy brush, you guessed it, and I'm gradually just making my way across the eyelid, as you can see. I'm patting the shadows down onto the lid and then bringing them up into the crease, and at this point you don't have to really worry about the pigmentation. I'm just adding a couple of layers and mapping out my shape, and once I've got a general gist of the placement of my shadows, then I can go back in and perfect the look later on. The last shadow then that I'm going to squash onto my lid is called Cloud Free. It's a gorgeous sky blue colour, and I'm just tapping this down on the outer portion of the lid, sweeping it up into the crease. But this shadow is more so going on the outer edge of the eye, and I'm winging it out towards the tail of the brow just to give a nice elongated feel to the look. Moving down then to the lower lash line, I'm taking the eyeshadow Daydream, which is a gorgeous purple, and I'm using a little pencil brush and I'm just lightly sweeping this on the outer edge of the eye. Then I'm taking the eyeshadow Love Sick on another little brush, and I'm adding it right next to that purple, and I'm just slightly overlapping it too so that they fade nicely into one another. I really wanted to get as many of these shadows on my eyes as possible, as you can clearly see, but I do think it works. Then I'm taking Euphoria, which is a light purpley pink, and I've picked that up on a little pencil brush, and I'm I'm just sweeping that down beside that previous shade. Finally then I'm taking the orange in the palette called Golden Hour, and I'm finishing off the lash line by adding that in the direction of the tear duct. So now that I've got all my shadows in place, I'm just going back in and touching up the eyeshadows that I think could pop more. Some of them needed a little more work than others, some I just didn't touch at all. I left with the 2 layers that I began with, and I had to kind of remember as well that these are pastel colours, so they aren't going to be severely pigmented. They're exactly what they're meant to be, and for the price I'm chuffed with their performance. So for the waterline then, I'm beginning by adding some of the NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk. I've just picked it up on a brush and now I'm tapping it down onto the waterline, but I'm not leaving the inside of the eye white. I decided to kind of make my own eyeliner, I decided I wanted a yellow waterline, but I didn't have a yellow pencil. So I'm using that white as a base, and I'm very carefully tapping some of the powder yellow eyeshadow from the palette right on top of the pencil so that it sticks, and I loved the finish of it. So I'll be adding lashes in a second, so I wanted some more definition along the lash line. So I'm going in with this eyeshadow from Penneys. It's called Carbon, and I'm using an angled brush just to press that onto the upper lash line. I've then added some of the Kiss lashes in the style So Wispy, and then I'm using the Wet n Wild Mega Length Mascara to really coat the bottom lashes, and then I'm also blending my own lashes naturally then in with the false ones. But then that's it for this look. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I hope you found it helpful. It's a little bit different, but I mean, it's nice to try something new from time to time, so I hope you enjoy it. If you did, let me know by leaving me a comment below and a thumbs up, and tell me what you'd like to see more of, and I'll do that certainly, and I'll catch you all very soon.